stew pork, tripe and beans, stew peas, jerk pork, jerk chicken, fried chicken, stew chicken, barbecue ribs, curry chicken, curry goat, pepper steak, escovitch fish, brown stew fish, and roast fish. And you don't know jerk pork with bread, jerk chicken with bread. Plus, catering services also available. Call us 646-294-3939 or 917-870-4088. We are also available on Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at CB_Jerk Center. Call us CB Jerk Center for all occasions. 646-294-3939 or 917-870-4088.
When you are hungry, come to Cooler Runnings Restaurant. Located at 1802 Nerid Avenue, corner of Wickham Avenue in the Bronx, we specialize in the best Jamaican and American cuisine, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We offer free in-house delivery, minimum $20 purchase, and we also have Uber Eats. We do barbecue Thursdays, fish fry Fridays, and seafood Saturdays. For more information, give us a call for our address and menu, 718-324-7484. Once again, that's 718-324-7484. Cooler Runnings Restaurant, simply the best Jamaican food.
This is Glacia, and you're listening to the resplendent, resourceful, beautiful, brilliant, innovative, informative, and entertaining Lady D, the one and only. Lady D, Inside the Zone, on Linkage Radio, the community platform where information is guaranteed. Linkage Radio, Lady D, Inside the Zone. Inside the Zone.
Monday, 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 Monday. Welcome, 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 welcome. I am Lady D, Denise Gomez, your producer and presenter of Inside the Zone, the community platform where information is guaranteed, broadcast on Linkage Radio 101.7, 104.5 FM. Also, I'm broadcasting on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, www.caribbeanvibesradio.com, and Inside the Zone YouTube channel. Good afternoon to you. Yoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I can say the yoo-hoo-hoo nice for you. You. Good afternoon to you. Inside the Zone is a culture-centric radio program that connects the Jamaican diaspora and international audiences globally. The show's content captures its people's social, cultural, and collective views on issues that affect their communities: family, health, finance, education, immigration, housing, and food insecurity. On Monday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on your budding and buzzing station, Linkage Radio, in Mount Vernon, New York. Today's feature is the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. The show is brought to you by Cooler Runnings, Jamaican restaurant, 1802 Narita Avenue in the Bronx. I hope you all had a splendid, splendid, splendid weekend, and that your family's doing well. You're doing okay. Are you doing okay? I hope so. I don't want to hear that anything is going on with either of us, you know. We do have our moments, but we care about each other. Coming up next are the Monday Beat. We're going to chase the Monday blues out of here with great music. It is Dancing Music Monday, followed by What's Inside the Zone. Former colonies conflicted over the Queen. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Have you ever realized, or noticed rather, that when someone dies or they're getting an award or something, I mean, the archives is just coming alive. It comes alive because people delve and search and browse and find all kinds of information, positive or negative. And sometimes we don't check it out, you know, but, you know, we just get sucked in. Nevertheless, I do have that feature for you. And then right after, I have Fast Facts. September 11, terror attacks. Remember yesterday we celebrated? Well, it's not a celebration. We remembered September 11. Keeping you in the know comes up at 7 p.m. with news, happenings, and facts. Voices, the intellectual voice that has everyone talking, Dr. Terry Carell Reed out of Jamaica. Good afternoon to you, everyone. Don't forget to log on to my channel, Inside of the Zone with Lady D. You'll see me sporting my yellow shirt today, my canary yellow shirt, yeah. So good day. I like wearing shirts during the summertime. With my jeans pants, so I look kind of nice, you know. And then as the winter it lick now, I pull out my boots. Yeah, so will you. So enjoy the remaining months. Oh, not months. Well, yeah, by October we should get a little more cool breeze, right? Yeah. Let's see what that turns out to be. So welcome, everyone. What time is it? 25 minutes after 5 o'clock. Don't forget, today's show is simply covered by Cooler Runnings, Jamaican restaurant, 1802 Narita Avenue in the Bronx. Simply the best Jamaican food. And you can get some side orders to, you know, macaroni and cheese, Jamaican black cake, whole chicken side orders they're talking about here, you know. Sliced fish, fried shrimp, chili wings. I tell you, food, sweets. Good afternoon to you. Our telephone number is 914-600-4228, 914-600-4228. I'd like to say hello to those of you passing through, or you're here to stay with me. Oral, you're staying with me until 7 o'clock. Vera, you just popped in. Are you staying with me until 7 o'clock? King Ryan in the house. My Patricia. Welcome, everyone. Those of you who are on Oral, could you share it with people you know? Share the link in progress here now so that they can come on and enjoy the show. Staying with you. Yes. Alrighty. So welcome, everyone. Did I tell you it's my dancing music Monday? I am ready. I'm ready. This past Friday, the VM group, they hosted one of their, informational seminar sessions. And so I hosted for them. It was a beautiful evening over by the YMCA on 229th Street in the Bronx. It was a nice atmosphere. The place was beautifully decorated and all them kind of nice stuff going on. So hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure having you. And I'm hoping you will be with me until 7 p.m. this evening. Let's get started. 27 minutes after 5. Kick it off with some nice music here. Dance, 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 dance.
Snap, there's a whole lot of people in the house trying to smoke with the yak in your mouth. And we back outside. You said you outside, but you ain't that outside. Worldwide hoodie with the mask outside. In case you forgot how we act outside. Motivation. I found me a new foundation, yeah. Shaking my new salvation. And I'ma build my own foundation, yeah. Oh, baby, you won't break my soul. 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 And I'm telling everybody, yeah. You don't seek it, you won't see it, that we all know. Can't break my soul. If you don't think it, you won't be it, that love ain't yours. Can't break my soul. Trying to fake it never makes it, that we all know. Can't break my soul. Can have the stress and I'll take less, I'll justify love. We go round in circles, searching for love. We go up and down, lost and found, searching for love. Looking for something that lives inside me. For something that lives inside me. You won't break my soul. 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 Telling everybody, telling everybody, everybody, everybody. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. No, no. You
5:32 p.m. It's the Monday Beat, chasing the Monday blues out of here with great music. More for ya.
And what is
Dancing Music Monday. On the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Monday. Dance, dance, dance. Dancing Music Monday. That's my guy, you know. Lord, may his soul rest. Michael Jackson. 5:36 p.m. Michael was so creative. My goodness. Choreography at its highest, I tell you. Oh, lordy, 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 lord, lord. I tell you, my days of dancing. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you. It's the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. You're in the segment, the Monday Beat, chasing the Monday Blues out of here. Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac.
I'm sure your dad and win. Your love of mine. All those times I said that I love you. Your love of mine. Yes, I try. Yes, I try. Your love of mine. Even though you know I die for you. Your love of mine. Yes, I cry. Yes, I cry. Return of the man. Return of the man. Come on. Return of the man. Oh my God. You know that I've been here. I am. Return of the man. Once again. Return of the man. Top of the world. Return of the man. Watch my flow. You know that I've been here. I go. So I'm back up in the game. Running things to take my swing. Letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show. 'Cause what you did, you know was wrong. And all the nasty things you've done. So baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song. Your love of mine. She said she
Coming up next, what's in the zone? Important global events.
you did, but you did.
Former colonies conflicted over the Queen.
This thing you said I did.
Oops.
Your love of mine. But
They had her service this evening. And I saw the king in his what we call it again, kilt. 20 minutes to 6 o'clock. Good afternoon. If you need some more of the Mac, of course, I'll be back, getting back to him momentarily. Welcome to the first segment here in the show, the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. My name is Denise Lady D. Gomez, producer, presenter of Inside the Zone, aired on Linkage Radio 104.5, 101.7 FM, and catch us on the TuneIn app for Linkage Radio. Log on to linkageradio.com. Good afternoon to Dex. Thank you, Dex, for always do what you do. 20 minutes to 6. Now, here is an article that I came across. I cannot mourn former colonies conflicted over the Queen. So that's what's in the zone this afternoon. This is out of Nairobi in Kenya. Upon taking the throne in 1952, Queen Elizabeth II inherited millions of subjects around the world, many of them unwilling. Today, in the British Empire's former colonies, her death brings complicated feelings, including anger. Beyond official condolences praising the Queen's longevity and service, there is some bitterness about the past in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and elsewhere. Talk has turned to the legacies of colonialism, from slavery to corporal punishment in African schools, to looted artifacts held in British institutions. For many, the Queen came to represent all of that during her 7 decades on the throne. In Kenya, where decades ago a young Elizabeth learned of her father's death and her enormous new role as queen, a lawyer named Alice Mugo shared online a photograph of a fading document from 1956. It was issued 4 years into the Queen's reign and well into Britain's harsh response to the Mau Mau rebellion against colonial rule. Movement Permit the document says. While over 100,000 Kenyans were rounded up in camps under grim conditions, others, like Muga's grandmother, were forced to request British permission to go from place to place. Most of our grandparents were oppressed. Muga tweeted in the hours after the Queen's death, Thursday, "I cannot mourn." But Kenya's outgoing president, Uhuru Kenyatta, whose father Jomo Kenyatta was imprisoned during the Queen's rule before becoming the country's first president in 1964, overlooked past troubles, as did other African heads of state. The most iconic figure of the 20th and 21st centuries, Uhuru Kenyatta called her. Anger came from ordinary people. Some called for apologies for past abuses like slavery, others for something more tangible. This Commonwealth of Nations, that wealth belongs to England. That wealth is something never shared in, said Bert Samuels, a member of the National Council on Reparations in Jamaica. Elizabeth's reign saw the hard-won independence of African countries from Ghana to Zimbabwe, along with a string of Caribbean islands and nations along the edge of the Arabian Peninsula. Some historians see her as a monarch who helped oversee the mostly peaceful transition from empire to the Commonwealth, a voluntary association of 56 nations with historic and linguistic ties. But she was also the symbol of a nation that often rode roughshod over people it subjugated. There were few signs of public grief or even interest in her death across the Middle East, where many still hold Britain responsible for colonial actions that drew much of the region's borders and laid the groundwork for many of its modern conflicts. On Saturday, Gaza's Hamas rulers called on King Charles III to correct British mandate decisions that they said oppressed Palestinians. In ethnically divided Cyprus, many Greek Cypriots remembered the 4-year guerrilla campaign waged in the late 1950s against colonial rule and the Queen's perceived indifference over the plight of 9 people whom British authorities executed by hanging. Yanis Spanos, president of the Association of National Organization of Cypriot Fighters, said the Queen was held by many as bearing responsibility for the island's tragedies. Now, with her passing, there are new efforts to address the colonial past or hide it. India is renewing its effort under Prime Minister Narendra Modi to remove colonial names and symbols. The country has long moved on, even overtaking the British economy in size. I do not think we have any place for kings and queens in today's world, because we are the world's largest democratic country, said Dhiren Singh, a 57-year-old entrepreneur in New Delhi. There was some sympathy for the Elizabeth and the circumstances she was born under and then thrust into. In Kenya's capital, Nairobi, resident Max Kanindi remembered the Mama Rebellion with a lot of bitterness and recalled how some elders were detained or killed. But he said the Queen was a very young lady then, and he believes someone else likely was running British affairs. We cannot blame the Queen for all the sufferings that we had at that particular time, Kanindi said. Timothy Galagira, a political analyst in Uganda, said there is a lingering spiritual connection in some African countries, from the colonial experience to the Commonwealth. It is a moment of pain, a moment of nostalgia, he said. The Queen's dignified persona and age and the centrality of the English language in global affairs are powerful enough to temper some criticisms, Caligira added. She's seen more as a mother of the world. Mixed views were also found in the Caribbean, where some countries are removing the British monarch as their head of state. You have contradictory consciousness, said Maziki Thame, a senior lecturer in development studies at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica, whose Prime Minister announced during this year's visit of Prince William, who is now heir to the throne, and Kate, that the island intended to become fully independent. The younger generation of royals seem to have greater sensitivity to colonialism's implications, Thames said during the visit. William expressed his profound sorrow for slavery. Nadine Spence, an activist, said, appreciation for Elizabeth among older Jamaicans isn't surprising since she was presented by the British as this benevolent queen who has always looked out for us. But young people aren't awed by the royal family. The only thing I noted about the Queen's passing is that she died and never apologized for slavery. Spence said she should have apologized. And as a footnote, I'd like to let you know that Associated Press journalists around the world contributed to this report. Has it triggered anything in you? I'm sure it has. Her death has triggered a lot of things, positive and negative. And you perhaps have taken your own position based on what you've heard, what you've read, what you've researched, etc. Nevertheless, the monarch is still at its highest. The king, Mass Charles at 73, and many people are joking and laughing, but not many of you are going to achieve anything at 73. Some of you will not be here, and even if you are, you can't be bothered. You're just cruising your way out. Well, Charles has now gotten the position, which would have been his anyway, and let's see what he'll do. How about that? Good afternoon to you. My name is Denise, Lady D. Gomez. I had to bring you a little scoop on what's going on around the globe with important events, and that's one of them. Former colonies conflicted over the Queen. Don't forget our telephone number is 914-600-4228, 914-600-4228. At 6 o'clock, we have Keeping You in the Know with news, happenings, and facts, and we'll be talking together. And I'll be wrapping up the show with Voices, a clip with an interview courtesy of Profile out of Jamaica with Dr. Terry Carell Reed, a bright young woman doing her thing there in Jamaica. We're all over the world doing what we do, as Jamaicans. And to our other Caribbean friends and family, we would like to say hello to you. It's Monday. It's called the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. My sponsor this afternoon.
When you are hungry, come to Cooler Runnings Restaurant. Located at 1802 Nerid Avenue, corner of Wickham Avenue in the Bronx, we specialize in the best Jamaican and American cuisine, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. We offer free in-house delivery, minimum $20 purchase, and we also have Uber Eats. We do barbecue Thursdays, fish fry Fridays, and seafood Saturdays. For more information, give us a call for our address and menu, 718-324-7484. Once again, that's 718-324-7484. Cooler Runnings Restaurant, simply the best Jamaican food.
Dancing Music Monday. Another great selection for you. Mary J. Blige. Family Affair. Good afternoon, everyone.
Let's get it crunk up on that fun up in this dancery. We got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance for me. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Let's get it percolated while you're waiting, so just dance for me. Come on, everybody, get on now, 'cause you know we got to get it wrong. Mary J is in the spot tonight, and I'ma make you feel alright. Come on, baby, just party with me. Let loose and set your body free. Leave your situations at the door, so when you step inside, jump on the floor.
drama in our life. With the great track pumping, everybody's jumping. Go ahead and twist your back and get your body bumping. I told you leave your situations at the door. So grab somebody and get your ass on the dance floor. Let's get it crunk up on up, fun up, on up in this dancery. We got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance with me. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Let's get it percolating while you're waiting, so just dance for me. Don't need no haters, y'all, we don't need no. We're just trying to love one another. We just want y'all to have a good time. No more drama in your life. Work real hard to make a dime. If you got beef, your problem, not mine. Leave all that BS outside. We gonna celebrate all night. Let's have fun tonight, no fights. Turn that rage back way up high. Making you dance all night, and I got some real heat for you this time. Doesn't matter if you're white or black. Let's get drunk 'cause Mary's back. Let's get drunk up on up, fun up in this dancery. We got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance for me. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Let's get it percolating while you're waiting, so just dance for me. Let's get it crunk up on up, fun up in this dancery. We got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance for me. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Let's get it percolating while you're waiting, so just dance for me. Let's get it crunk up on up, fun up in this dancery. We got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance for me. Don't need
5:54 p.m. Good afternoon. It's Dancing Music Monday. How are you, everyone? Good afternoon to you. What can I tell you? Music, music. 5 minutes to 6 o'clock. If you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. It's your wedding anniversary. What are you doing for your anniversary today? Aha. A baby was born in the world. Welcome, baby. Welcome. Hey, friends and family.
Got you effortlessly. That's the way it was. Happened so naturally. Didn't I know it was love? The next thing I thought was you holding me close. What was I gonna do? I let myself go. And now we fly through the stars. I hope this night will last forever. I've been waiting for you. It's been so long. I knew just what I would do.
Welcome, Sharns.
Your song fill my heart with this. You gave me
Hey, Angie.
you knew what
I see you.
resist. I needed someone. And now we're flying through the stars. I hope this night lasts forever. Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me happy. Makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better.
Dancing Music Monday on a Monday afternoon here on the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Good afternoon to you. Where are you from? Where are you? Our telephone number is 914-600-4228, 914-600-4228. Don't forget to call me. Keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts is coming up in seconds, and I do have some interesting headlines out of Jamaica for you. It's 6 o'clock. Set your watches and your clocks. Keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts, brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. Good afternoon. My name is Denise Lady D. Gomez. The National Children's Registry, the NCR, says a total of 94,876 calls were made to the 211 toll-free line created for children to report abuse between January and June this year, with neglect being the most prevalent type of report received, followed by reports of children displaying various behavioral issues. The 24-hour helpline, which has been operational since June last year, is the first of its kind in Jamaica and can be dialed from a cellular or landline telephone, free of cost. It is operated by professionals from the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, through the National Children's Registry. According to preliminary figures from the registry reflecting child abuse incident types, which were obtained by the Jamaica Observer, a total of 4,055 reports of neglect were logged in addition to 3,899 of physical abuse, 2,869 for care and protection, 2,392 of physical abuse, and 2,106 of sexual abuse. There were also 950 reports of emotional abuse, 284 of child labor, 64 reports of bullying, and 27 of child trafficking. According to the registry, a feature of most reports it receives is the occurrence of two or more forms of abuse against children. Therefore, it said the incident types will be greater than the number of reports received. The National Children's Registry was established as a provision of Child Care and Protection Act 2004, the CCPA, in 2007. The registry is a central point for the receipt, recording, assessment, and referral of reports that are made by persons who know or suspect that a child is or is at risk of being abused, neglected, or is otherwise in need of care and protection. Between 2007 and 2019, a total of 121,295 reports were made to the registry. Reports of incidents that are received are regarded as allegations, as investigations by the respective agency may either confirm an incident as reported or indicate otherwise. Last Friday's stabbing of a security guard at the Herbert Morrison Technical High School by a parent has been condemned by the Minister of Education and Youth, Fayval Williams. The stabbing incident, which captured on video and shared on social media, reportedly occurred after the parent was prevented from entering the institution because the pair of shorts she was wearing was deemed to be too short. In a statement Monday morning, Williams described the incident as totally unacceptable and outrageous behavior by a parent. Williams noted that it has been reported that the security guard attempted to bar the parent from entering the compound last Friday because he considered her deportment in violation of the school's dress code. The parent allegedly insisted on being allowed to enter the premises, and the ensuing argument escalated. It ended with the security guard being stabbed by the incensed parent with a pair of scissors. Quote, "This kind of behavior is to be condemned in the strongest possible terms. We cannot expect to set a good example to children by resorting to violence when we have disagreements. Last Friday's incident, as reported and captured on phone videos, suggests this attack took place in full view of students. This is outrageous and cannot be condoned," end quote, Williams stated. She continued, "Where parents or guardians are in disagreement with the school's regulations, they should seek to have their concerns raised at Parent-Teachers Association meetings and with the administration. We must set better examples for our children overall, and especially as we are calling on parents to ensure their children obey the school rules," end quote, the minister added. A female dancer who is a member of the Royalty Divas dance squad was allegedly stabbed by another dancer minutes after leaving a party at O'Neill's Place on Hagley Park Road in St. Andrew on Monday morning. The 19-year-old dancer, whose real name is Geneva Spirit Sawyers, hails from Greenwich Farm in downtown Kingston. Her family is asking for members of the public to donate blood because she will require a major surgical operation to save her life. Quote, "Them just run me out of the room at KPH and put a test tube in our chest. They opened up our chest so air can get in our lungs because the lungs are collapsing," end quote. Claudine Grant, mother-in-law of the young dancer, told Observer Online. Quote, "A blood clot came out of her that weighed half a pound. She vomited and the blood clot came out the hole where she was stabbed, and the doctor said it was a good thing it came out. She has lost a lot of blood. I am making an appeal for people to give blood at the blood bank for Geneva because she has to do major surgery," Grant said. Grant said the attack was unprovoked. She was in the car when the girl stabbed her in the back with a ratchet knife and punctured her lungs. Oh God. A police officer reportedly came to the hospital to take the report and spoke to the eyewitnesses of the attack. Dancehall artist RT Boss, who employs the Royalty Divas, made an appeal for peace to reign in dancehall. Quote, "Right now, Jenny's in critical condition and will need major surgery. We are asking for prayers at this time because she was stabbed under her arm, puncturing her lungs and one of her arteries. She's critical right now. And for what? Some petty matter. We need peace to reign in the dance hall. Cut out the violence," end quote. Dancehall artist RT Boss told Observer Online. Molly has crawled onto the doorsteps of a police constable who, as a result, is now reiterating warnings against usage of the mood-altering drug. The cop, who reached out to the Jamaica Observer last Tuesday on condition of anonymity, shared that his 16-year-old cousin's encounter with the drug at a pale party sent their family into panic mode and ultimately resulted in her having to seek professional help. Quote, "It has slowly mushroomed into something much bigger than just one and two persons taking it. If there is no media pressure or media coverage, law enforcement don't want to look at it until it hits home or snowballs out of control. This is personal to me because one of my family members actually took Molly and entered into a bit of a psychosis. Her brain wasn't functioning properly after that. We didn't know what was happening. You know, when you see somebody and they're acting all jittery and paranoid? That was it at that time," end quote, the constable said. He continued she was feeling euphoric and everything, and after that she stated that she had what is called a come down, and she had some crazy thoughts rummaging through her head. She felt like she was losing her mind, end quote, he added. The growing use of Molly pills at parties was first brought to national attention by the Sunday Observer in July this year through a series of stories and a video documentary entitled Molly Predicament. The print and video productions featured health professionals from Heart Institute of the Caribbean, Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, and the Southeast Regional Health Authority, warning that use of the drug poses serious threats to the heart and the brain. At the time, the National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, declined to comment on the development, saying that it would issue a comprehensive release on the matter very soon. However, it wasn't until September 1 that the NCDA, during a press conference at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, released a risk assessment study on Molly use, which it said was conducted in 13 parishes and high schools among 160 students in grade 8 to 10. The NCDA shared that Molly, vaping, and edibles were among the top 3 sources of substance abuse among teenagers. Last month, the Sunday Observer also highlighted another reckless trend among young people who mix medication containing diandramine with white rum, icy mint candy, and clear carbonated soda to make a high-inducing drink. On Wednesday, the constable explained that initially his family was oblivious to the fact that Molly was the reason behind the 16-year-old's behavior change. Quote, "Here in Jamaica, we don't have a lot of experience with this. We blamed marijuana and said probably somebody gave her a spliff. But no, she actually took a pill," end quote, he told the Sunday Observer. She explained what happened, and when they called me, I found out that it was Molly. You know, they talk about breaking the pill in two. And so what she did, she took half, didn't feel anything, and immediately took the other half. So she got one full dose. She is 16 years old, he lamented. He said she had to be taken to a therapist because of the effects. She had mild hallucinations. She kept saying she was seeing things and all that. So we definitely went to the therapist after that. The thing is, when you start hearing other stories, you start to find out that this is out there more than you think it is. You probably think it's a one-off situation until you start hearing other stories. And it continues. 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. My name is Lady D, Denise Gomez. You're tuned in, of course, to keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts. While they were on the field hammering Arden High School 6-0 in their Issa Digicel Manning Cup opener on Saturday night, the St. George's College STGC players were being robbed of their possessions, including cellular phones, items of clothing, and even football boots. Moments after leaving the field and recording the biggest margin of victory of all the games played across both the Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, the players discovered that their personal belongings had been removed by thieves. The STGC changing room was on the ground floor of the Kingston Cricket Club and secured by private security. However, persons were able to gain access to the room and remove the items valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. The extent of the losses is still being assessed, but head coach Neville Burtis Bell was bitterly disappointed at what took place. Quote, "We are very disappointed that this has happened. Apparently the room was accessed through a back door while we were on the field of play and a few items stolen," end quote, Bell disclosed. He continued, upon returning to the changing room after the match, players discovered that cellular phones, boots, personal items such as slippers and shirts were missing, end quote, he revealed. They were unable to enjoy the victory after a very good performance on the field, said a disgruntled Bell. Investigations are still ongoing as to how the thieves were able to access the room when it is reported that only one person had a key to the changing room, and that person remains adamant that he was not responsible for the theft. Bell also revealed that he was told by a member of the Arden coaching staff that it was apparent that the persons involved in the robbery were trying to gain access to their dressing room but failed because it was padlocked from the inside. A Kampong Maroon chief, Richard Curry, is refuting claims that he has been ousted as the leader of the Maroons. In a statement to his Instagram page, Curry posted that news of his removal is a conspiracy to overthrow the current Democratic elected leader for Accompong. On Sunday, rumors began circulating that Curry was convicted on 27 impeachment charges along with a vote of no confidence. In response, Curry advised the public that the process of having a leader removed as chief must follow the laws of the Accompong Constitution. Quote, in the event of impeachment or removal of the chief, deputy chief, and any of the council members, they will be tried by the Executive Council. The findings of the Executive Council will be brought to the full Maroon Council for review, the release said. If the individual is found guilty, a meeting of the full Maroon Council will be called with the Maroon citizens of the sovereign state of Accompong to reveal the findings. A vote will be taken by written ballots for the removal or impeachment of the chief, the deputy chief, or any council member or members, it continued. He added that there is no provision in the Accompong Constitution affording any council outside the full Maroon Council to execute the laws. In November 2021, Curry denied claims that he was running Accompong like a dictator amid growing tension over his leadership of the historic Maroon village in the hills of St. Elizabeth. The accusations were made after a resident complained of being stabbed and gun-butted by one of Curry's security men as they shut down a party in the town, allegedly on orders from Curry. Out of Clarendon in Jamaica, investigators from the Clarendon CIB are on high alert following the murder of 33-year-old Textroy 50 Egbert, a resident of Savannah Cross in the parish. He was shot and killed by armed men on September 10, about 10:30 a.m. Reports are that Egbert, who was self-employed, was shot shortly after he drove to a wholesale in the vicinity of the Texaco gas station in Sandy Bay. As soon as he stopped his silver Toyota Probox motor car, another car drove up. Several men exited the vehicle and began shooting at him. Egbert ran, but he was chased and shot several times. The gunmen then left in the vehicle in which they had arrived. Egbert's body was taken to the Mapen Hospital, where he was confirmed dead. According to the police, Egbert is no stranger to them and was the target of several intelligence-led operations in the past. He was targeted by the police in connection with lottery scamming activities and illegal guns. He was arrested in 2018 for murder and identity theft in St. James and was reporting on condition of bond at the Hold Harbour police station. He was also cited for receiving stolen goods from an appliance store in Mapen in 2017. And finally, Giovanni, a grade 1 student at Catadupa Primary School, is believed to have experienced difficulties during heavy rainfall in his community as he walked home from school on Thursday afternoon. From all accounts, the water pulled him into a stream. His body, school bag, and books were found hours later. Adams, though, is not pleased with the school, claiming that a change in the dismissal time was the reason Giovanni walked home that afternoon. Quote, I want to know why they allowed him to come through the gate at that time. I really would like to know why the school let out the students, especially the grade 1 students, because I heard that it was raining. But when I went to the school, they told me that the rain started around 10 minutes after school ended. Adams told the Jamaica Observer, quote, we didn't know that school was ending at 2 p.m. When I asked them, they said that they sent a message to us in the WhatsApp group. But I was at work and unable to use my phone, so I didn't get that information. If I had gotten that information, I could have called up here and have Giovanni picked up from school by 2 p.m., the mother said. When the Sunday Observer contacted Catadupa Primary School on Friday afternoon, the principal, Marcia Gordon, stated that she is authorized to speak to the media. Rather, she's unauthorized to speak to the media. Adams told the Sunday Observer that one of Giovanni's aunts would always ensure that he got to and from school safely. Quote, in the evening, when his auntie was ready to go back to school for him, she couldn't find him. We heard that Giovanni was at a shop buying sweetie, and the shopkeeper told him not to go in the rain. However, he said he's going home, so he took his bag and left. End quote. As Adams recounted the phone call that changed her life, sniffles came from a nearby room occupied by one of Giovanni's sisters. She was the one who had prepared him for school on Thursday morning. The sister who told the Sunday Observer that she too was shaken to speak said Giovanni cried to not attend that morning. Adams went on to relate how she had received the news of her son's death. I was coming home from work when I got a call from my daughter to say that they cannot find Giovanni, and I started to get upset. I asked her if the driver came over on the road, and from I heard that the river come over, I just said that maybe he tried to cross the river. End quote, she said. When I was on my way, a number of people were searching for him at the river. They found his bag first, and while continuing their search, they found Giovanni lying down beside a tree trunk with his head tilting as if his neck was broken. Jelani Gordon, another of the boy's sisters, will have a hard time recovering from the pain of losing her brother. We had a great relationship, and I would always take things for him when I'm coming home from work because he was very helpful. He would always help me with my baby, Gordon told the Sunday Observer. Catadupa resident Daniel Harding said he was in the search team who located Giovanni on Thursday evening. The man is calling for the government's intervention as he fears for the lives of young children walking in flood-prone community. We need a bridge out there because that water coming down from Lapland side is not any normal water. I'm literally begging the government because we cannot lose another child like this, he said. Keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts, brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nereid Avenue in the Bronx. The headlines this evening, I know they are not easy for us to absorb. Some of them are very, very sad and unfortunate. Extremely. And I read the one. I had read it, but I wasn't able to complete it when I was pulling up the headlines. But the one with the little boy drowned, I am telling you, this one has an effect on me. It does. Give me a call, 914-600-4228. I invite you to call and let's talk about the headlines together. Because here is, I'll start off with the one that has impacted me most. Here is a child who, is walking home from school, and he got into difficulty as he tried to cross over the water as it was gushing down, and I'm sure he lost his balance, and the rest is history. When I heard the part about him stopping at the shop to buy sweetie, which we all did as children, but I'm sure some things you wonder why they happen, and other things you're like, you don't know what to say. Because in some instances, when I was growing up, our shopkeeper ensured that we would stay in the shop if it's raining heavily, especially because I lived close to school, with the exception of when I was going to Chapelton Primary School, which was a distance from home. So I had to commute by public transportation. But like John Austin All Age, which was just a walk up the road, but if the rain fell heavily, water would be gushing down on the roadway. But then you had children now who had to cross river to go home, no joke. And for some shopkeepers, they would ensure that they wait until, as they say, the water run off before they allowed them to go out and tread their way home. So this one is very unfortunate, and I'm hoping, as the plea was made, that they could do an assessment of that area, see how a bridge, the possibility of a bridge, as they recommended, could be erected there. A construction is done for a bridge to prevent any other child, or anyone for that matter, to be washed away. 914-600-4228. Give me a call. Which headline touched you? Because I'm telling you, I'm still stuck at my little boy. Now, what about this robbery? Lord Jesus. People thief until they just thief. You know, you just thief and you thief. And you thief all where you don't need to thief. Chucks. Here it is now, the St. George's College boys. You know, the football team. They are there playing their Issa Digicel Manning Cup match. And people get into their locker, the room, and steal their stuff. And then they claim now that it's one person who has a key, and he's adamant that he didn't let in anyone. But as one of the Arden team members said, that it appears they were trying to get in their area too, but because there was a lock on the inside of the door, so they couldn't get in. Locks, people thieving. Shucks. You just can't see the boys' stuff and leave them. You know, they just eyeing them, and then they go in and help themselves. So what about this Molly pill? Do you have a concern about this Molly pill? Because there's always some new phenomena in the drug-related world that people are tapping into that you and I perhaps have never heard of. Have you ever heard about the Molly pill before? Let me know if you've heard about the Molly pill, because I can tell you it was my first time hearing about the Molly pill. When we've heard of other things, Molly is new. Not only is Molly now filtering into the society, and the teenagers between 10, what they said, between 10 and 8 to 10 is this are into all this kinds of thing. And then when you take it, because this, of course, report came because a policeman's cousin, his 16-year-old cousin, she cut it in half. She took one, then she don't feel anything. She don't wait, you know. Then she took the other half. So that's one whole of Molly pill right there. And it brought on a lot of horrible effects, hallucination, like she going crazy. And you say to yourself, now why do they want to indulge in these kinds of things that give them that kind of a out-of-body experience? You have no control over what you're doing. Isn't that something? No, man. Oh, too much. Give me a call. Let's get back to some music. But of course, you know, I'm here for you. You can give me a call. I think I need to get back over to this selection here. It wasn't quite done, so I'm just going to repeat it. You don't mind, do you?
This is Glacia, and you're listening to the splendid, resourceful, brilliant, innovative, informative, entertaining, Lady D, inside the zone.
Set your watches and your clocks. Time signal brought to you by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Narita Avenue in the Bronx. Give them a call. Place your order. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, 718-324-7484. Brown stew fish, fried fish platters, baked salmon with chili sauce, fried shrimp, steamed fish with a variety of stuff. Come enjoy a fish with one of our many sides. You can also place your order through Uber Eats. Voices coming up in seconds. It is a Monday drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good something. Good, right? Just good all over. Here is a nice interview with Dr. Terry Carell Reed. She's on social media. She's a Jamaican. She's always hosting events left, right, and center. And I thought I should just feature her this evening. How about that?
Terry Carell Reed, welcome to Profile.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Archie.
Seem a little nervous when leading into this. Why? You don't give interviews. How come?
I don't. In fact, it feels a little bit strange being on this side of the conversation because my profession always requires me to do most of the talking. I'm asking, I'm moderating. But then when the spotlight, shifts on me, it gets a little bit, it's a little bit strange. But I'm happy to be here.
Not accustomed to talking about yourself?
Not accustomed to talking about myself. I think over the years I have shared bits and pieces and people have seen snippets, people have experienced snippets. I've been very intentional about sharing what I want, when I want, and where I want to. But for the most part, I've always just been a very private person.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lady D.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm that Giovanni. I know, oh my God. My grandson named Giovanni. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. How are you, Hortense?
Not too bad, Lady D. Because they said lying in a pure madness. The woman, the mother, she stabbed the security guard. The other one, a dancer, stabbed. That the one she have bleeding out with
need blood.
She need blood. Then the thief at the school, with
the games at the football.
With the game at the football.
I saw. We from one extreme to the next, Hortense.
My man of war.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saddened by the little boy. He's 6 years old.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. He's 6. So he's a little baby walking home by himself, which is why the mother says, usually she would have somebody pick him up. But I guess they let them out. The rain stopped, so they let them go home. They allowed them to leave the school. But, of course, the rain continued thereafter. So that was, and, he doesn't really know about how to... He's 6. So I'm not going to say, all right, I shouldn't cross here, so yet let water run off first. And even when the shopkeeper told him not to leave, him six, just keep him in the shop until.
Until.
What can I say
He's supposed to
again?
know him mother, call him mother, and tell him mother, say, I have Javani here. He wants to go out to the rain, and I'm not letting him out.
Well, I don't know if the shopkeeper would have had any contact information for the mom, but at least it's in a community where most people.
Teach them children their name and their phone number.
I agree with you.
Teach them where they live, where they from, who their sister, who their father, who their mother, grandmother, everybody.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you because there are children who all they know their mother named Pansy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or
Jesus Christ. They don't know
Jackie.
phone number. They don't know where they live.
Mm-hmm.
We have one 7-year-old one young she have her phone. She have her key. Today she start with her key up in door and come in. They say they keep them.
Mm-hmm.
Father, mother, that work, call them.
It's very sad, Hortense.
Call
Can you
them.
imagine when he fell in there and realized the water is carrying him away? Oh, God.
Carry him away.
Mm-mm. No, sir. And then the part that broke me is because they said they found him near a tree and his head was kind of slumped. So clearly the neck got broken. Oh, God. Because, water, when it out of control, there's no hand, no foot, right?
No.
And it just takes you away.
The shopkeeper, either him or she must terrified.
When they hear the news afterwards.
When they hear the news. Oh, God.
So sorry.
Help, Jesus Christ.
So sorry to hear.
Beg the Prime Minister to do something. Make me bridge. I don't know if you hear yesterday out of Central Village with the shooting a funeral and they shoot the police. They have a funeral and thugs with music, thugs come at the funeral and to shoot at the funeral. But luckily the police came out there and shot 3 of them. 3 of them dead. That because the gully, the gully are the what they call it, the trench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pick them off like a bird. Pick them on nose. You see? Them comes out to shoot up funeral.
Oh dear. And they themselves became corpse, right?
Not them caught. Them next funeral help. That's right.
Well, as always, thank you, my dear heart, for calling in, because I know you're a news lady.
Me I tell you, my daughter said, me must start.
You should. I love that, Hortense. Oh, Lord Jesus. Thank you, but you could have your own station, Oh, Lord, Hortense. Oh, God. Good to hear you, though. All right, take care. Lord have mercy.
Somebody said to me, say, I see news just you hearing. Me say,
yes. You're like the newsstand. Oh, I tell you.
I think we're the observer or the cleaner. Lord God.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, all right, Hortense. Thanks, love. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay.
The one where you read about Sunday Day. I got to get that too.
Oh, so you heard that one too. Oh, well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Invariably do you get stale news, right? For your news always hot off the press. Oh, Lord. All right. Enjoy your evening, okay?
Okay.
Blessings, my love. Okay. Lord, that's my Hortense for you. Good afternoon. Keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts. And of course, I'm also featuring voices. But if you'd like to call, then I'm open to accepting your call. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Denise, Lady D. Gomez. Don't forget, we're broadcasting on Linkage Radio 104.5, 101.7 FM, and as well as linkageradio.com. There you can tap into your TuneIn app and listen as you are moving about doing what you do best. Good afternoon to you. To my YouTubers, thank you for being here with me. I do appreciate you, and it's a pleasure having you. And of course, I'm getting into the interview in progress.
A public figure.
See, that's very interesting to me because I look at your career and your trajectory and a list of titles too long to name all of them. Mother, TV host, motivational speaker, you're an author, yes. You were a model or are a model, depending on how you look at it. Veterinarian, that is really important as well. When you look back at all of that, what do you think? How do you feel?
Even when I heard your introduction and I just heard these different titles, it almost sounds like, I asked myself, who is he talking about? Because a lot of the times I think when we are going through the transitions and we're going through the moments, we don't always get to stop and celebrate or stop and look back and go, wow, we did that. So to actually hear it, it kind of makes me proud of who I am, proud of how I transitioned, and just proud of all the experiences, good and bad, the good and the ugly, that have helped to kind of shape me into this person I am today. But I'm proud of myself, and I certainly hope I've made my grandma, my mom, my closest family and friends proud as well.
I'm happy that you mentioned them because that's actually where I want to start. By talking a little bit about growing up, yes. Because your mother and your grandmother were huge influences in your early life.
Oh yeah, Grandma, the matriarch. For persons who are a part of my online community, they know her name is Jeannie Baby, Scorpio, Panamanian by birth actually, but she naturalized. She came to Jamaica when she was young, got married, naturalized, had children here. But Grandma was the matriarch. Whenever persons have complimented me about my diction and my eloquence and how I articulate, how I storytell, they usually ask me, were you coached, were you trained? And I tell them, yes, my grandmother. From the moment I came into this world, she said, she's going to shape and mold me. And so a lot of who I am, the woman who everyone sees today, was highly and hugely influenced by my grandma. And then my mommy was the breadwinner. So I saw her working, paying the bills and, moving around and just being very active, and also being an involved mom, which is something that I see myself doing now. She was always busy, always had work, but for the recitals and the extracurricular activities, somehow she was always there. And I think that also helped to mold and shape who I am and to define how I parent, even as a mother today.
Let's talk a little bit more about your grandmother as well, because you have said, certainly when we had the pre-interview, yes. A woman from a certain sort of era, but molding you in a completely different kind of way than she herself grew up or perhaps experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. So she will always speak about, coming to Jamaica and it being a cultural shock for her, simply just as a foreigner, but in the period, in the era, she would have been very young. It was the time where, you get settled, you get married. If you're lucky enough, you'll be a secretary because that was considered the job of jobs, and not really understanding anything else, being subservient, being the homemaker, being the goodly wife. And she was that for a very long period of time. She ended up having 3 children, my mom and her twin brothers. And over a period of time, what she said was that the womanizing started. And she didn't understand it. She thought once you created this fantastic home, then everything should be perfect. And what ended up happening is that her husband was just very womanizing, very disrespectful, and nothing that she did was rectifying the situation. So the moment, there was a day when I think she confronted him. It was a story that she told where she confronted him to say, this is an embarrassment. We have the children, we have the family, and how you've been behaving is just not acceptable. He didn't like it. His ego was bruised, and she'll always say, he buried his head like a bull. She'll always say that, and he charged after her. And she said she picked up a vase and she broke it over his head, and she left with her 3 children, and she never looked back. And I think that is the woman who I know today.
That's the story she was telling you when you were how
Yeah, man,
old?
I was probably now in high school, but you know, just growing. She's the type of woman who would always kind of drop little things, like when it came to relationships, give off your all, but hold back a 10% for yourself. You know, if you're in your relationship.
She's telling you this in high school?
Yeah. My grandma, and for those people who know her, she's straight-laced, very transparent, very honest, very open. She'd even say things like, you know, when you're in your relationship and you find that person who you love, make your friends be your friends and his friends be his. Because if that relationship comes to an end and you forgot your friends, understand that when he leaves or when he walks, his friends walk with him.
High school?
Yeah, man. I think we need to have more of these conversations. You see, and this is probably the parenting that you see me with Naima. She was always age appropriate in the sense that she never got into details, and certainly there are things that I did not understand because I didn't have much context. But it's those little things that she taught me that now that I'm older, I look back and I say, yeah, self-preservation requires you to hold back for yourself. Never get complacent. She'd tell you, always save. It don't matter if he's working, you're working, if he's giving you money, whether you feel loved or not, always save. And I've lived to realize that all of those experiences that she shared with me, I've either lived it, experienced it, or I've had to apply it. So I'm actually very grateful that she did that.
And your mother now, also a big influencer as well.
Huge influencer, someone who just always was very aware of who she is, very dominant personality, larger than life. We eerily sound the same,
like
identical.
Never seen anything like
identical.
Like...
Absolutely, but she was a go-getter. And she was always someone who was figuring out, okay, sure, I'm working for Air Jamaica, but I can buy and sell. So I grew up seeing my mommy as a hustler. And so that is where the whole entrepreneurial spirit that I didn't think I had, but I think that's actually where it came from. I think it came from my mom.
We have to talk about your father as well, because in a lot of these conversations, you talk about your mother and your grandmother, but you don't mention your father. So we're going to take a break now on Profile. My guest is Dr. Terry Carell Reed. We're back after these messages. Welcome back to Profile, or welcome to Profile Part 2, I should say, of my interview with Dr. Terry Carell Reed. And when we ended last week's episode, we were talking about the challenge. And I didn't forget the challenge that you were experiencing in high school. What was it?
I was in second form at the time, and I remember up to that point, everything was fine, everything was normal, and then we just ended up in a very rough patch where my grandmother was reading the Gleaner one day, and then she realized that the house was being put up for auction, and then it was a matter of money just wasn't, we were handling money, light cut off, water cut off. It was just absolutely rough, and I remember asking God in my private time, you know, why? Why us? We lived good with people, you know, we didn't give any trouble. Like, you know, why was this happening to us? And it's kind of interesting because it was my grandmother who reminded me of it when I took her for her normal checkup. And she said, you remember when we used to go to KFC with our plastic bottles? And I just sat there and I said, yes, I remember. When the water was cut off, we would go to KFC at the Portmore Mall, and we would fill up our plastic bottles, and that is how we would like wash the dishes, and you know, and I could talk about all of these things during this period that was just rough. I was taking the bus to school, to Campion College, so I would take a bus to Halfway Tree, then I'd have to get another transport from Halfway Tree to Campion College, and I give God thanks for Miss Shaw, who used to work in the office, because she used to give me lunch money. And I could have sat down and said, woe is me, woe is me. But what I remember is that during that period of time, my uniforms were never dirty. I was never late. I was never absent. And I remember I tied for first place in second form with Trevor David Road. I will never forget Trevor David Road, because we were always in a very competitive environment. And I think it was that moment, it was very pivotal, but it was for me to understand at that time that there are things that I will not be able to control. That's how life is. I don't have any answers for why we experienced that rough patch and why it was us. All I know is that I could control how I responded, how I reacted, how I chose to show up. And so I was still going to school, still motivated, still inspired, understanding that this will only be for a time. This is temporary.
Were your grandmother and mother also sort of reinforcing that? As in, were they acknowledging that things were different, or were they simply, just rolling with the punches?
I think there was some acknowledgement, but after a while, it was just rolling with the punches. I think it was just understanding that outside of what you can't control, you just kind of have to push through, see it through, and I think that's the personality a lot of people see within me in terms of how I approach things. It's not going to go according to plan, but what are the things you can control? And so I think that is when I realized that my excellence is unconditional. How I show up and where I show up and how my attitude and approach is to life is not dependent on other people. It is solely dependent on me. And if I can't do it for myself, then who's going to come and save me?
So this sort of set the challenge, with the groundwork rather, for you to be able to deal with the challenges that you were encountering in Cuba.
Oh, absolutely. And to still be able to hold your head with pride, understanding that you're not defined by these circumstances or situation. It does not diminish you. It does not devalue you. If anything, it teaches you that this is life.
But
it's going to throw you curveballs.
But at the same time, another curveball was about to come.
Oh, yeah.
Because you headed back to Jamaica and then understood that you are not going to be able to practice.
Imagine, you run up and down with cow and goat and chicken and you have to do surgery and you're speaking in Spanish and you finally graduate broke. You're a broke student when you come home from school. And my mom, she accompanied me up to, the vet board because you have to kind of tell them, okay, you're back and you carry your certificates. And they were just like, yeah, congrats. But we do not accredit students who study veterinary medicine in Cuba. And I remember just being like, so what exactly does that mean? Mm-hmm. And the suggestion was, well, you can go to University of the West Indies in Trinidad, St. Augustine, or you can go to Alabama for another 3 years or so. And I was just like, that's not happening. Will I get a scholarship? I mean, I would need support. And when I left the office, I remember my mother was in tears and she just kind of said, what are we going to do? Because you don't have anything else. You did the sciences. There are no fallback subjects. And I just remember saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know that the God that I serve is not going to bring me here and just drop me like that. There has to be another reason. And just like that, my personality is I'm not going to sit down and worry about it in the moment. For me, it's okay. Where do I go? What do I do next? It's the attitude and it's the approach to life.
And so this sort of led you on the path of, I would say, perhaps the best description of it is marketing and communication. No, you can talk, you can present yourself, but at the same time, your training was in veterinary medicine. So how were you convincing people that, yeah, I can do this? I can do not just this, but anything.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I was convincing people. I think people were convincing me that I had the ability. And it's just so funny. It's eerie, but it's also funny how a lot of us have our heart hell-bent on a particular career. And everything, we have our blinders on. And when it doesn't work out, we feel defeated. We feel like failures because we are not pursuing the career that we went out to do. And we possibly feel like disappointments. And sometimes it's just not our calling, right? And so when persons started to tell me, you ever think about media? In fact, it was Neville Bell and Simon Koskill who, when I won I didn't even win the title yet, Miss Jamaica World. We were just finalists and we were all being interviewed on the Smile Jamaica set. And Simon and Neville looked at me and said, what are you studying? And at the time I said, well, I have 1 more year to complete veterinary medicine. Simon said, nah, man, you're going to be a media vet. So after I won the title and I came back for my first interview, Simon and Neville then say, no, you are the media vet. So they had told me from a long time, you're not going to work as a vet. You're going to work in media. And all there was for me to do was to be curious enough and to have an approach and an attitude that said I am open to learning. I have absolutely nothing to lose if I give it my best shot, I bet on myself, and I allow myself to learn from the people around me. And 11 years later, I am considered a media practitioner untrained, unqualified, but just honing a craft and working on my craft to the point where this is really where my calling has always been, apparently.
And just being yourself at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm grateful that I had producers like Sharon and persons who worked with me who
Sharon
never...
Troughton, also the producer on Profile.
Absolutely. Who never tried to say, well, this is what media looks like, and this is what people out of Karimak look like, and this is how they behave. They actually looked at my strengths and said, we want you to be just the way you are. And it worked. It worked for me, and it worked for anyone who happens to be an audience, whether I'm hosting TV or an event.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about that brand that you have developed and how you maintain it. And we have to talk a little bit about the marriage. There's so many things to talk about, but we have to go to the break.
Archie, all the time, Archie.
So we're going to go to the break, and after the break, we're going to, I guess we would say, whop it back. Can you say that? And talk a little bit about that experience, Mr. Jamaica, then talk about the marriage and motherhood. Much more to come on Profiles.
Well, that's the voice of Dr. Terry Carell Reed. I follow her on social media. Smart girl. Really smart girl. And we wish her all the best. She's doing what she's doing. And as she says, she doesn't give interviews. And there are a lot of people, renowned people like that. They don't give interviews. You may read about them, but they're not open to interviews. 5 minutes and counting to wrapping up the show today. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you. Of course, you know, it's keeping you in the know with news, happenings, and facts. My name is Denise, Lady D. Gomez. Bringing the curtain down on the show. I hope you were informed this afternoon. The Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. And I believe I brought you in the know on several things today. I'd like to say thanks to everyone who spent the time to listen with me since 5 o'clock. I appreciate all of you. Thanks to Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, 1802 Nareed Avenue in the Bronx. It's like a chorus. You know, Cooler Runnings as my sponsor. And this coming Thursday will be Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all over again, right here on Linkage Radio. I was at the VM Group's informational session on Friday, and I was talking to another a media person, you know, and she said, yes, I know Linkage. He has been one of the stations that has been around for a long time. And I said, yes, many have come, many have kind of gone down, you know, but Linkage Radio is here, and we have a purpose right here in this community, the community of the diaspora. So no matter where you are, we interview, we play the songs, you know, music of this and that, like I say, roots, rock, reggae, R&B, disco, gospel, calypso, and a host of other selections right here on this budding and buzzing station. So spread the word. Linkage Radio still there. So God bless and keep you as you enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. You're warming up. What you having? Auntie Daphne, you finished pack yet? Did you cook yesterday? Yam Lady, did you cook? Pat, did you cook? Eddie, who cooked for you? Vernon, who cooked for you? You have warm-up leftovers, right? You're going to warm up your leftovers from Sunday dinner. Yeah. So blessings, everyone. As always, love yourselves, love your children, and remember, in everything you do, it is the will of God concerning your life. It has been my pleasure. Blessings to you. Coming up next will be, of course, Pastor Isaacs, and he's going to take you to a whole new place of praise and the word and such good things that go on when it come on to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. A lot of love and blessings to you, everyone. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I am out of here. Oh, I didn't give the kiss. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm out of here.
For your listening pleasure.
There are radio stations within the ear, but to this